Good day. Good morning. Um, it's November 15th, 2019, and I'm following this up from yesterday because as if you watched the video from yesterday, I was kind of wandering around because I couldn't put everything down that I thought of the night before. So I had a good 4.5 hours sleep last night. I woke up and I said, that's not really right, or there's more that can be done better. And it's because of what happened yesterday with the school shooting. Something like that can really cause you to start focusing better and put your thoughts together, some of us. So anyway, what I thought of this morning before it got daylight, had it all figured out in my head, and then I fell asleep before about 5 this morning. Got a couple more hours in, so I thought I should do some more. This was all set up really well. The sun is coming in a little bit, and it sure ruins everything. I mean, not really, but the brightness is too much for this camera. It looked real good just a minute ago before I started taping. Anyway, you can see I've got my yellow vest on today, and so pick up from where I went yesterday to just review it and try to put it in a better package. All those terms I used, the New World Order, the deep state, the empire, the Vatican, the corporation head at the City of London. You can throw in the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, George Soros. All these are like on the left hand, the tree of good and evil. It's the same, different words for the same thing. I mean, not exactly the same thing, but all sort of talking the same thing. I mean, they're going the same direction. And on the right over here would be the tree of life. These are the natural ways, the indigenous people that travel, that utilize universal laws, God's laws, the laws of nature, whatever you want to call it, the organic movement, the people that want to be more honest. You get the idea. You should. So anyway, what I was thinking is, what I was hinting at yesterday was that you could have a church, a group, and I thought, well, why not just talk about it today? It could be called the Church of the Awakening. And I mean, heck, if a science fiction writer could create a religion back in the, what was it, Scientology or something, back in the 50s or whenever it is, why can't some of you people out there do that? But the whole idea of these two groups is the leftists, their families, these families go way back, and they've passed these secret knowledge, this occult knowledge, down through their ages, so they know what's going on. Whereas, oh shucks, this computer wants to shut down. Right in the middle of something. So the problem with the right people over here, even President Trump, is he's not focused, or he's not able to accomplish what should be done because there's too many, going against him. And as older I get, the nice thing about age is you're getting all this information. If you're trying to stay awake, or waking up, even the older you get, you can add all this stuff together and you get the bigger and bigger picture, unless you get too much poisons in your body and carrying around too much pus in your body, or getting bombarded by too many microwaves and cell towers and 5G networks and 4G networks and higher intensity 4G networks that confuses your body and brain and literally gives you Alzheimer's. You can't focus what you should be able to do. I mean, even the kids today can't focus as well as the older generations in years past. And when I was young, there was a lot of the older people, you couldn't fool them. And they could talk to you, and they knew if you were speaking honest or fake. But it's much more difficult today. The old people I know, most of them are confused. They very few of them can make judgment calls. Here I am talking about judgment, where these two trees, the tree of good and evil, is in a sense a pre-judgment group. Oh, these people are evil. Oh, or I'm good. And you see, you get that good and evil battling back and forth. Whereas the tree of life just grows. It grows towards heaven, or goes towards the knowledge. And that's what I try to do. Just present facts, or present something, and not be judgmental. That's like what I'm talking about with the drug cartels. I'm not out there to kill or put these guys out of business. They're in something just like back when alcohol was outlawed by the government. It's basically the same thing, and the people that are behind the outlawing are the very same people that are making money from it. And the people that are backing it are the ones that have the networks of the drugs all figured out, and they want the war on drugs to be there just to get rid of the competition. And it was the same with alcohol. If everything was, well, not legalized, but just decriminalized, the drug head cartel people could go into, use their money to go into other businesses, like what the mafia did with the garbage industry. Most of the largest corporate garbage, that pick up residential and commercial trash, were organized and put together, and they bought out all the little ones. And that was because the mafia money was being cleaned and put into something that was good. That's just an example. Anyway, I'm getting away from it. the right needs better leadership that know what a positive birthright system would be, so they can, so the followers or the people that are searching or awakening know where to go. But of course the media today is, their big thing is, and the agencies are out to quash that so that the people can't hear anything. Even they're talking about YouTube shutting down a lot of people and a lot of videos, a lot of channels in January because they're not viably producing commercials. And who are the people that can afford to buy commercial space? All the corporations, that you see on TV, insurance companies, pharmaceuticals, they're the ones with the money. And then here's Pelosi going on about, well, we should only have professional journalists. We can't have these people out there acting like journalists, or me. I don't have a teaching certificate. You can't listen to somebody that doesn't have a teaching certificate from the big universities that are just brainwashing you and just telling you just certain things. So we should outlaw all these people that are claiming to be journalists because they don't have a degree from one of the colleges. And what she means by a journalist is somebody that used to get big bucks from, CNN, ABC, and the big newspapers, and of course all the little newspapers. Everybody, or not everybody, but more and more people were realizing there's just BS in these newspapers. Plus, people don't read as much. Plus, the paper and all the material costs more. So, even the controlled media can't support the ground base that we had 20-something, 30, 40 years ago. So their pay is being cut down, and they're putting more and more commercials on. Heck, some of these radio shows now, they have 5 more minutes every half hour of commercials than they used to have, because they just got to put out more commercials. They're not getting as much, maybe, money. Or look at Coast to Coast. They're making up most of their program of commercials is they're pushing their own products, their own show. They're putting George Norrie out there making these live performances. They're great. He knows all. And then, go pay $100 to see George Norrie. And yeah. Anyway, you see, there's the two opponents here, and basically the elite that's in control, the powers that be, don't want competition from anything, because these people out here, the patriots and the true investigators today, the true people they're researching, they're coming up with better material. Look at Google. Google used to set up their system, their search engine, and according to what was the most popular would come up first. And now a lot of them is who's advertises the most, or the world according to Google. And they're putting what they think is better. And I started noticing way back in 2012 that some of the stuff was disappearing. It's still there, but it's harder to find. Well, some of it isn't there. But getting back to YouTube, I just changed some stuff to zero it out. I'm saying all my videos are not appropriate for children. because the standards for children are so convoluted. I just marked it out so my whole channel shouldn't be watched by children, and you know, the only thing I have on there is a few four-letter words, really, and then there's the talk. You know, a lot of us may lose our channels because we don't have the right kind of advertising, or we don't have advertising. It's not viable as a commercial product. Anyway, so there's some ideas. Let's see, it's only 15 minutes. I could go on, and if somebody was asking me questions to clarify what I've just gone on over, it would be better, but it's almost like the shooting yesterday. I was talking about something was going to happen this week, and the White Hats or some of the military may actually be doing something. And the shooting yesterday was an attack against them. Well, you better stop that, because we can create these people that are out there on drugs and being programmed out there. I mean, there's probably thousands and thousands of people out there under MKUltra that are programmed and ready to start these shootings. I mean, that's what Sirhan was clear back when RFK was assassinated. If you really look into it, there was other assassins there that really did the job. Sirhan was just firing crazy, and his bullets were going all over the place. And so they had the professional backup guy back there that bap, zapped RFK in the back of the head. And that was back, what, in 68 that was? So look how much, all the years they've had to improve their brainwashing tactics on these people that are out there just acting normal, but can be programmed at a moment's notice to do these shooting. And then most of them, you know, shoot themselves and they die and their evidence is gone. Or, well, anyway, there's no point talking about that anymore. What I wanted to, I'm going to change course here a little bit, and now you can really call me crazy if you want, because I'm going to try to tie in directions we can go if you know of somebody that has claiming some answers that are different than what you're getting from the mainline news media and from the universities and from the professional people that are getting the big bucks to tell you. The politicians, they're getting the big bucks from George Soros. What I've been really getting into, and I've been in physics all my life. I was an X-ray technician. My dad was a radar specialist way back at the beginning with Howard Hughes, who really developed radar. And so I'm into the sine wave, the electronical magnetic sine wave, and its effects. And I was a beekeeper. And so I wanted to go over some things about vibrations. I've got there's some wondrous things being done with tuning forks today in healing. And I'm getting into all sound right now as far as its healing abilities. And I was playing around with it with the light waves and different healing methods way back in the 80s, and I got into chiropractic. You know, I was not as licensed, but I got into some of that and some of the other alternative stuff. But what I want to say is getting back what I didn't say. A lot of these groups, the right, the Tree of Life needs to communicate better. This is something I forgot. Satan isn't here on Earth, and he's in another higher dimension, and Lucifer is out there. But these corporations, this one world order push, you know, I used to think it was just certain leaders that were doing it, but it's almost like there really is an evil force controlling these people, and it's a consciousness, really, one consciousness that's guiding these people, and there's really only a few of them compared to the masses. 0.00001% of the population really is into the black arts, or the dark arts. I don't want to call black because it's a different thing, seriously. The dark arts. And there's very little communication with the people that are seeking natural laws. So we need a better way of communicating, and that's what I'm trying to say, something that's more focused, some way of pointing. I've had friends that have, or people I've known, watch my videos on YouTube, and the counter never doesn't change. And then my BitChute ones, they used to work up until 6 months ago, and then they won't download now. I don't know why. Even ones that were downloading fine, all of a sudden take minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes to download, to come up to start playing for you when you push them, and then the picture doesn't come up. Now maybe I've done something stupid, I don't know, which is possible. Anyway, but it's so difficult to communicate if you're trying to say something that is true, whereas all the BS seems to get all the play today. That's what I was trying to say. So anyway, where was I? Tuning. If you have the same tuning fork and you hit one, you have them all lined up, and you just hit one, you know what happens? Those other ones will start vibrating. And the same thing can happen with, remember these musical tone, what do they call them? When you're playing a piano or something, it's the thing that keeps the beat. It goes back and forth, tick tock, tick tock, tick, and you can set a tick tock, tick tock, tick tock at whatever beat. Well, I've seen long recordings, and then they're sped up, and they have 4 of those all lined up together, and they're all going different ways. And slowly, over the hours, they get into sequence, and eventually they're sympathetic. They're all going in the same swing. Now that should be revolutionary to you. And the same with a bunch of clocks, the old cuckoo clocks and the old Big Ben clocks. If you all set them, I've been told that, it may take months, but they'll all end up going the same. Now that's if they're all timed the same. You know, you remember the old cuckoo clocks? You could move in order to speed them up or slow them down, you'd move the weight up or down. And so if you set them a little bit different, well, they'll never go into harmony, or never go into the same sequence. Oh, don't tell me this thing's going to shut down. I hate that. Yeah, if you set them all different, they'll never set the same. But if you all set them the same, they will go into cadence with one another, the same cadence. That is the same thing with your body. We're out of tune, and it's harder to get into tune when you're eating GMOs. Now, that could take hours to explain that, or days to explain that. It's harder to, when something's synthesized and you've got synthetics in your body, which is what a lot of weight that people carry around, it's just stuff that their body can't eliminate, and it encapsulates it. And GMOs and poisons, certain poisons, that's what'll happen. And it's very difficult to flush this out of your body. Whereas if it's something natural, it tends to go through your digestive system. You use it, and it's passed out. And so if you tune your body correctly, listen to good music, and tune your body to the right frequencies, you're healthier. And there's a whole science there of how we tune our bodies. It's very critical how it's done, and then it needs to be more specific, because our bodies are different. I mean, they're similar in a lot of ways, but you can't just have one frequency for everybody. It's not that simple. And then getting into energies, there's really not that much difference between energies of a motivating force, such as a UFO, a gravity vehicle, and what motivates our bodies. Now this is, you can turn it off if you want to, but here's this ship, this drone that you've seen. You know, this was my cover of my second book that I had on Amazon. This thing, when done right, it actually, the weight on the scale dropped just slightly. And right there, it's telling you something, that you've crossed the barrier. Now, if you remember in the picture, if you've seen the picture, this is only part of it. It was hooked up to some stuff that was on the ground, and you can see maybe in there the glass dome got broken over the years. There's some electronics in there. Incidentally, this is all, there's no steel in here, no iron. This is all stainless steel, and the only other metal in it is some copper for the wiring. And then some of the parts on the outside, such as this, since they're not part of this, they can be made out of aluminum, and they should be made out of. And anyway, this is a resonator. It's a frequency generator. And there's so much more I know about this now that but I can explain it actually. Here's half of one. Now you got hit it right. I don't know if that's picking up. It's vibrating. Just like this, it's vibrating. Everything has its frequency. This is a deeper tone. Our bodies have frequencies. Now if I hit this and hear that sharpness, depending on what you're hitting it on. See, there's a real sharp ringing there. It's kind of irritating. That's why you got to use the right kind of wood, actually. There. That's much more pleasing. But what causes it to resonate or begin with? Now this will naturally go to the tuning what it's set for. Incidentally, depending on how long you make these forks and what you make them out of, will change the resonance, the frequency of this. So these are expensive because they're toned to an exact frequency. What does this look like? What does it remind you of? The top of the Tesla Tower that was built by Nikola Tesla on the east end of Long Island. And there's a bunch of people that have one in Texas now, a tower. What did he say? He said, I can set this frequency and I can generate electricity and put it out to all you people to pick it up with a receiver in your home. Remember what I was saying? The two are in resonance with each other. Your home and the Tesla Tower. And we can do this so easily that you could have one of these receivers in your home, which wouldn't cost too much, and we could broadcast it free. But J.P. Morgan, who was backing, and he basically owned that tower out in Long Island, out by Montauk Project. So he found out, well, I can't meter this. I'm not going to be able to make millions and millions and billions of dollars. I'm not going to be able to control the people who receive my electricity. So they tore the whole thing down. And you've got PG&E over there in California now, owned by the Rockefellers, basically, that are causing people to lose their homes in conjunction with the same people that brought you 9/11 and the same people that shot JFK and RFK and Martin Luther King and all the people that died around Hillary Clinton and yeah, I'm getting off into conspiracy theories, but you see the battle going on. It's difficult to get this out because so many forces are against us. Now, 99% of people, even the people that are working for the big corporations, even the CEOs could benefit in in the long run, well, even in the short run, from new technologies. But the banksters don't want to give it up because they're making so much money this way. We spend most of our lives paying rent or taxes for the little property that we have, the house or the car we drive. And if the money hadn't been taken from us scam-wise with interest on these mortgages, we could each have our own acre of land, our own half-acre land or quarter-acre land or eighth of an acre land, and we wouldn't have to work as many hours to pay the rents and the taxes on what we have. We could stay at home more, and one of the spouses could actually stay at home all the time. We could have homeschoolers teach your own kids. But you're working on to pay these rents because the currency today has been borrowed into existence. So you're paying rent on the currency. It's like, basically what I'm saying is that today and for the last 100 years been taught that 10 plus 1 is 10. Now I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit, but that's what the banking system is. Now in a small town, it's more easy to understand that when you borrow something, say you borrow $10 and you have to pay another $1 on that over the next year to pay it back. You understand that easier, but when you look at it as a whole currency pool, what exists as the US dollar, you can't go out for that 10% to pay that interest on that. It's impossible because you've borrowed that into existence, understand? So you have to go out and borrow, create another 10% or whatever the rate is that the Fed's charging. So you have to expand, you're always expanding the monetary pool. And that's what the bailout in 2008 is. And that's what the current bailout since September is. They're just not calling it a bailout, they're keeping it quiet. But all this money is being dumped in every day, billions of dollars, into the banks, the overnight lending rate, to keep the petrodollar going. 38 minutes. This is really getting long. Yeah, if you guys want to start a Church of the Awakening, put on the comments section if you have a church that's vacant, that you own a church somewhere in the continental. I've got this, I'm in a little van right now, a little RV right now. You know, I got nothing really, no stakes in the ground. If you need somebody to teach at your church, or this all can be done on the computer, if we don't get shut down more. Things are getting tighter and tighter. They're trying to, the powers that be are trying to restrict the internet more and more. Who knows? They're able to control voting so much that Trump, if he's still alive in another year, may lose. If you haven't gotten something positive out of this video now, you're not going to. I'll just shut it down. So be good and keep searching. More power to you.